happens to be of a famous Rabbi Benyamin Kaziz, very, very famous rabbi of his time, and I believe he was born possibly towards late 1600s. I'm not sure the exact date. Now, there's differing opinions when he actually passed away. Either it was in the year 1755, actually using the Hayami website's notes. According to Wikipedia, maybe it was as early as 1735, but if anyone has clarification within regards to that, I would really appreciate it. I think it was more 1755 from the dates of it, which the Hayami website has got. Now, the Hayami website also lists today, which is going to be this week, Yud Chet Av, the 18th of Av, as the date of his Hilula. I believe they would mark this date because it happened to be the day when Rabbi Abraham Ben Yehuda Yuchas would actually give a haskama for a sefer of Rabbi Benyamin Kaziz called the Megillat Sefer, respectively. So that's why on this specific day, let's just say, when it was actually going to be given, respectively. Okay, let's explore a few of the highlights of the famous rabbi's life. Now, he was born in an area of Adrianpol, I believe. That was his father's name was Rav David, and he would learn under the auspices of Rabbi Eliezer Nachum and also Rabbi Yaakov Abraham ibn Mesrud. Yeah, he would go on to author the Koshtã in its time in Turkey, and it was, I think, very much connected to the author was through David and Aram, through his sons, if I'm not mistaken. They would actually print it at a later stage, and it would quote various Mefarshim, let's just say, and Poskim, within regards to the great rabbis of that specific generation in of itself. I think much of his writings was left in manuscript form, the Kitab Yad, and it was found, I think through, if I'm not mistaken, through Rab Nisim, I think at one stage in Kitab Osef Beneyahu Shbiyat Harab Nisim. There was a famous chronicler, I think Meir Benyahu, who we've spoken about before, we recorded a video about before, who was a historian and wrote about many different books and rabbis, and I think he was very much connected to former Rishon and Rabbi Harab Nisim also, respectively. It's called Amatachat Benyamin. I think in that specific book it's chronicled. There was Chidushim on the Tosfot, I think, Sfarei Benyamin. This was Perushim on various different, let's just say, Haskamot on himself. I think there was a Chilko Shel Benyamin, which is Perushim on the Rambam, and there was another book, I think, that dealt with the Perush of the Ram on the Torah, respectively. And I think there was a Piyur al HaYerushalmi on the Yerushalmi part of the Talmud Bavli, respectively. I think some of it was printed in press. I'll say what it says in Hebrew. Shechelkam menu nitvasu bekama gilionot bebitaon ner ma'aravi. Sefer Achen Nikra Yad Yamini. So they're very similar names, let's say. And I think Chida himself, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azilei, he actually saw some of the writings, as I say, in Koshtã, and would actually quote it, I think, in some of his books, respectively. Very interesting enough. Remember, the Chida was one of the famous Moroccan rabbis of Jewish history, one of the famous rabbis in the last few hundred years. He was the author of many great Torah books, and we've spoken about him on various occasions before. I think at the end of his life, he would actually move to the holy city of Tzfat. This was one of the 4 holy cities of Israel. This was, and I think maybe it was 2 years after he actually arrived in Eretz Israel, he passed away. So before, Meir Benyahu would actually bring much of chronicles within regards to him in his books. Seemingly he was born in the year 1685. I believe his father was famous Rabbi David Kaziz. I think in Edirna in Turkey he was actually born over there. And there was many great rabbis, as mentioned before, the Rishon LeZion, Rabbi Eliezer Nachum, who was actually, it's interesting enough, Rabbi Eliezer Nachum was the author of a great Torah book called the Chazon Nachum, and Rabbi Raphael Yaakov Abraham Giron was author of the Tikkun Sofarim. So his teachers were famous authors, and I think it's actually interesting. His Rabbi Yaakov Abraham Giron wrote on it, "Havei shod lilmod Torah yoter mekulam, yadav rav lo, yadayim askaniot, yishuv yishmenu, sham shenenu, kol safek chachamim pi chabura, arucha b'kol b'shumra, v'yad kotevet al aniya v'al hadaftara." That's very interesting. as we said before, he would eventually move to Istanbul, and over there he would actually become a dayan, a Jewish judge, and over there he would have many, many great Talmudim Torah students. Now, it's actually interesting. Seemingly he did pass away in 1755, according to this, because the Hayomi website lists that it was the year 1753 when he moved to Eretz Yisrael and lived in Tzfat. Now, it's interesting. While he was in Tzfat, he would continue working in the rabbinate. He would continue as a dayan over there in Tzfat, the holy city of Tzfat, over there. So I think he would be buried at the end in 1755 in the Jewish cemetery, Bebeit Al-Min Ha'atik B'Tzfat, old cemetery of Tzfat, respectively. And why do we commemorate the 18th of Av as his Hilula? As we stated on onset, Rabbi Avraham ben Yehuda Miyuchas, I think, gave the Haskama, the approval, on his book of Rabbi Benyamin Kaziz called the Megillat Sefer, which we spoke about before. That's actually interesting. I think another famous Rabbi Avraham ben Eliezer Halevi, brought in his book the Drashot V'Chiddushim, the Hesped on the subject of Rabbi Benyamin Kaziz. I think this was in the year 1756. 1755, I think there was a book Megillat Sefer. It was a Perush on the Smag. I think that actually came out in Kושטא after he passed away through his sons, Rabbi Avraham Kaziz and Rabbi David Kaziz. More books, as we mentioned before, which was connected to him. I'll just recap: the Amtachat Benyamin, which was Chiddushim on the Tosfot, respectively. There was Savarei Benyamin, which is Perushim on various Mesechtot inside the thing. There was a Chel Koshel Benyamin, which is Perushim on a Rambam that was printed. Sefer HaPerush Mizrahi LeTorah. This was Chibur Bi'u al Hayushami. This was based on the Yushami, the Gemara teaching, and the book, the Yad Yamini. I think it got lost at some stage in time. I don't know if it was printed or not, or if anyone's got a printing of it. That'll be interesting to know. Let's explore a few of the highlights from his book, just using the notes from the Hayomi website. I think from the Megillat Sefer, Daf Aleph actually, Amud Aleph book. This was once again. It's a phrase inside the teaching. It says, "Melamed she'ein chovlim beged almana behu kasot yom olayla." Very famous pasuk. This is darshan from pasuk in the Torah. How we've got to treat the widow very, very well. The Torah actually instructs us, and that's once again from the Megillat Sefer book. One last teaching over here, which is coming from page number 38, Lamed Chet Amud Bet, is from the same book over here, the Megillat Sefer. It says, "Mavi divrei harishonim shebemakom shish minhag halach achar haminhag." This is the teaching from his book, which is very much, I think, in the 38th page of the book. So very, very interesting. So some people will mark his Hilula here today on the 18th of Av, and I recommend everyone to learn more about him. Very, very famous rabbi. That's a special treat. We're going to see some scenes of Jerusalem outside here, but don't forget to subscribe and let you see some scenes of just a good journey at the moment to Jerusalem. We're speaking about a rabbi that will make Aliyah at the end of his life, the holy city of Tzfat. So, you know, some rabbis like to start with nikunim, with different songs, with playing the guitar. But I think it's nice to see the scenes of Eretz Yisrael outside here. Okay, let's check this out now. So you can see over here, it's just some of the scenes of Israel. You can see the trees of Israel. This is a nice way to finish the video. Remember, friends, we've already recorded on this series about 7,000 videos. There's 7,000 subscribers we've nearly got. We've recorded about 1,200 videos of great rabbis of yesteryear. And we also cover the Hayomi tidbits, daily page of the Gemara tidbits every single day. And we also have a great Jewish rabbinic personality to give over some amazing chizuk on Israel to strengthen and powerade the day respectively. So wishing you all a Shabbat. Take care. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.